Hi, let's talk about what we learned today. My name's Chris. This is Jessica over here.
Hello.
And we are joined today by our son, Jacob.
Hi.
Before we get started today, I just want to remind everyone that we are not doctors or psychologists. We give some advice based on our experience with our children and so on, but it's not like professional advice. So take that how you will. We're just having some fun and talking about stuff. Right, Jake?
Yep.
And Jacob, just so you know, it's a little different than with our YouTube videos, our vlogs. With the podcast, we can actually look at each other and have conversations. I know we're used to looking at each other in the viewfinder, but that's something that I learned on my very first podcast because I looked at the viewfinder to look at everybody and have conversations with them, but it actually looked really weird on camera. So that's my piece of advice of what I've learned so far. I know this is Jacob's very first podcast.
Yep.
Yes.
And I will, when I'm talking to our audience, I'll look at the camera like that. And when I'm talking with the conversation, I try to look at you or Daddy.
For those of us listening to us on like a podcast, like station sort of thing, we also post these on YouTube. So you can check out our YouTube channel. That's why we have a camera in the room.
Yes.
So.
Oh, and Jacob, I don't know if you know this about the podcast itself. I know you're excited to be on it, but I don't know if you know that a lot of people just listen to podcasts. They don't watch the video of it. So a lot of the time, instead of like nodding our heads, we have to make sure to actually say like yes or no.
Okay, got it.
Jake's going to catch on real fast.
Oh, yeah, he will.
He's a bright kid. Hey, Jacob, the first thing we usually talk about on here is something that we learned about throughout the week. And I just learned some very exciting news.
Oh, no, that's what you were going to say. That's what's on my phone.
I just learned some very exciting news. You want to tell him? You can tell him.
I was going to. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So Jacob.
I got something cool to tell Jacob.
Jacob doesn't know yet. Jacob, the Dodgers won the World Series.
What?
Yep. Jacob is a huge Dodgers fan. And you just found out.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, Grandma texted me and she was like, if you're with Jacob, if he's still awake, which you are, please tell him that the Dodgers won the World Series.
Yes.
Anything else that you learned this week, Jess?
Oh, I did something really big this week, and I learned a lot in the process.
Okay.
And that is I voted. So I don't know if you can see my sticker, but I got my voted sticker on. And man, voting is something that I feel like in part is really easy. Like I knew who I was going to vote for the presidential candidate, and I knew some things already. But if you haven't been following every single little issue or every person like running for school board or whatever, to me, it takes a lot of like effort and educating myself and research. So that was really fun sitting down today and like really learning about all the candidates for those smaller offices. And I don't mean small, like
local.
Everybody's very really important. Yeah, I mean the local offices. That was really interesting and neat. And I wanted to know more. It made me kind of regret that I hadn't followed those people more throughout this time. But the whole process itself it took a lot. It takes longer than you can imagine that it will. Like, I think it took a few hours.
Yeah. Last time we voted in person, and we used that little practice ballot.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. Voting at home, I just feel like I put so much more effort into really researching. Like I went to everybody's website and I went onto all these different like Ballotpedia, I think, things. And like I really tried to like dive really deeply and really research the issues and the people running for all the different offices. And took a lot. I learned that to plan to spend a lot of time on it, and also that it was enjoyable. Like when I gave myself the time to do it, it was really enjoyable. But you don't do it all the time. So when you sit down to actually do it, it's kind of felt like a new thing. I think also that I had my computer really in front of me and really spent the time researching. It felt like it almost new, like a new experience.
Oh yeah.
You know, because I do feel like we've done mail-in votes and we've done
in person.
We've done in person, but I feel like it was one of the first times that I really had like so much technology at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Or something.
There's lots of sources. And the candidates and the propositions had websites that were more in depth than they were in the past.
Yeah,
as well.
Before I had only read through the booklet, but this time like I really looked at all the websites and everything, and I thought that was just kind of neat.
That's cool. You learn anything new this week, Jake?
I learned how to put on my Halloween costume.
Oh, that's important.
Gotta practice.
Yeah.
It was harder than I thought.
Well, I'm glad you did a run through. I need to do a run through of mine. I haven't done it yet. So I'm glad you did that. And you helped Bailey with hers too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, hers blows up. So he figured out the pump.
Did you actually blow it up all the way?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe.
You just figured out how. Jake got the technical knowledge going.
And the batteries are in too.
Oh, yes. He got his tools.
I'm so grateful for you, Jacob. I'm just so grateful that you can jump in there and figure things out. And just that I have you as like a backup and my support person now. Because, you know, there was a time when you were a baby. And now it's so cool seeing you growing up and taking on skills and being like able to assist me.
And baking for us.
And yeah, you're just like, you're so cool.
Thanks.
I love you.
So I learned that I don't know what Luke is going to dress as, because I thought I knew what Luke was going to dress as, and we had some extra costumes, and we thought, oh, it'd be fun to make a silly video where we're trying on all these costumes and stuff. But in my head, I think Jessica wasn't totally convinced what she was going to dress him as, but in my head, I was like, he's going to be this. And then he wore all the different costumes, and I was like, what is going, like, he's too cute in all of these. It's a toss-up. It's a total toss-up.
I know what I'm going to vote for.
What are you voting
what do
for?
you vote for?
The penguin.
The penguin.
Jacob wants the penguin. I think he's the lone penguin rooting for person.
How are the comments on that video?
Chipmunk.
It's
Everybody's
overwhelmingly
like chipmunk.
right?
And Bailey was like 100% chipmunk. Like overwhelmingly chipmunk. And Jacob's like, obviously penguin.
Oh, man. I really... See, there's a part of me that just wants him to be Mickey Mouse. Like, I just want him to be. But he's so cute as that chipmunk.
Well, and it's really funny because I feel like either fits into the theme that we've established for this year's Halloween. And what's nice about this year's Halloween is we totally stumbled into our theme.
Right.
Like it was not planned.
We didn't have a theme.
And I feel like that happened last year too, because every year we tell the kids, like, what do you want to be? Like, you get to choose. And that's important because in my childhood, like, I always chose my Halloween costume. It wasn't assigned to me, at least not once I was a little older.
Yeah.
But they always get to choose. And then a lot of the times we end up being all the same theme with like one kid who does their own thing. Or whatever, or some of the kids double up and they're like both the same characters. But I feel like this year everybody was doing something that seemed completely random and scattered.
Yeah. And
then it ended up tying all together, which is really fun because I feel like it looks like we planned it as a like solid family theme, but it ended up being, it was like on accident. And even Luke being a chipmunk or Mickey Mouse both fits the theme.
I know, that's amazing.
Right. So it was a good theme.
Yeah, good theme.
And I'm going to pat Christopher on the back because it's because of Christopher that this theme worked.
I want to jump into a question from Twitter now.
Okay.
I know we usually save these to the end, but this one pertains to what we were talking about. And it's from Cassandra.
Oh,
Hi,
hey,
Cassandra. Cassandra asks, what is the most creative costume you've made? My cousin was a ghost and had baby powder in her hair, and I wore a lampshade on my head when I was dressed as a side table. It was extremely uncomfortable. So, best costume you ever made.
See, and I love this. I was going to say that earlier. Like when I was a kid, I always made my own costumes.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have done that. We tell our kids like they can make their costumes. Jacob had wanted to make his costume this year.
I am making it next year.
Okay, but it didn't. He ended up not having the time and the correct supplies. It was hard to.
Ended up like a month before, and I was like, I can't make it all in a month.
Yeah, and you wanted some really complicated supplies that I feel like we couldn't find.
Jacob, what is your favorite costume that you've made? You've made a few. What's your favorite one that you have made in the past?
Emmett.
Yes.
From Lego Movie, right?
Yep.
And it consisted of a paper bag.
Yes.
That was your head.
Do you want to explain? Yeah.
I had these old pants, and I cut out cardboard and drew his pants in cardboard, so we'd glue this little cardboard pants.
You did it.
On my pants.
It was amazing. It was really good.
It was so amazing. And then I think you Sharpied details onto it like an orange shirt.
Yeah.
And then you took a paper bag and drew his face. And it was all you. Like,
yeah,
did you do the glue?
I didn't. I think I was out of town that year, and
Yeah.
I didn't even get to see it.
Yeah, you were.
You
out
sent
of
me
town.
pictures.
Jacob did it all by himself. I was like, okay, kid, whatever. And it kind of like seemed like it was going to be ridiculous. And then it was so good. I think you were like 5 years old or something then
You
too.
were little.
You were little
Yeah.
and you had a vision and you like made it happen. And it was so homemade looking.
I think
but
I
like,
was 4.
yeah, I think you were probably 4. That was going to be my first guess. But it was so good. Like I love it so much. And I love that. Like I love a homemade costume. I don't think any of us have a homemade costume this year.
I do.
Yeah,
Mine
yours
do.
is. Yeah,
mine will be.
Yours is. You didn't really make it. Like you didn't glue cardboard on anything, but
No.
you're compiling
I'm
it.
compiling it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 2 favorites. I can't choose between them. One's Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
That was a really good one.
Aw.
Because they don't have a Willy Wonka costume. I got a
No.
Joker jacket from a costume store and a brown hat. But like the vest I made out of duct tape, and I made like a bow tie. And then another year I went as Steve Martin, and I had a banjo and a white suit on and an arrow through my head. That was pretty fun. Because nobody knew who I was except for the people who were really excited to realize who I was.
We love that. Like we love doing stuff like that. I guess then if we're going with like costumes that weren't made as something, but they were kind of out of found items or other costumes, I guess I would have to say my Jamie and Claire
Yeah, that
from
was a good
Outlander.
one.
Christopher was Jamie and I was Claire, and I don't think a lot of people got it.
I
but
felt like I
didn't.
was an accessory to make that costume work. Like I felt like that.
it was
that
so
element.
great. You were an accessory, but your costume was like the most interesting. Like mine kind of just looked like whatever, but yours was like a kilt.
Yeah,
and
I got to wear a
wig.
kilt. That was fun.
It was
Yeah,
so
and-
I've done
fun.
that before.
It
And
was
you
so
also
good.
had like the shirt that was like half buttoned or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah.
You got a
I was-
half button shirt.
I was showing a lot of chest hair that day. Let me tell you.
Yes, so that I love that one.
All right, we've got a really fun topic that Jacob has actually chosen for us today. So we were like, Jacob, podcast can be anything you want. What do you want it to be? He told us.
And it actually ties into our Halloween costumes this year.
Yes, it does.
So very exciting. Good job, Jacob. Well done.
And we will talk about it right after we see if we have any sponsors. All right, Jacob, what is the topic for today?
The topic is Disney.
Just the entire entity of Disney? So we can talk about anything Disney.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any specific things at all that you want to get into about
Well,
Disney?
I wanted to get into the theme parks a lot.
Okay.
Like, what's your favorite food there and stuff like that.
Okay,
Okay.
well, take it away. What is your favorite food and at what theme park, Jacob?
Well, I really like Epcot. Their food is outstanding, especially the beer garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
That place will fill you up.
Yeah, I hurt myself every time I go there. I just eat too much food.
It's definitely something that I've craved during this time where we've been home. I've been like, man, I wish I could go there and just it's an all you care to enjoy buffet.
Yep, and you try to stop yourself, but you cannot.
What's the theme of that restaurant?
It is German,
Yes.
so it has like it's supposed to look like you're outsides in the dark, and there's like a theater in there and a village almost.
Yeah, it does kind of look like you're in a town square or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like this spinny thing that has like the water.
Oh, yeah, like a water mill
Yeah,
sort of
water
thing?
mill.
Yeah, and just incredible entertainment too.
Yeah.
Like that's every hour, I think it is.
I think it's every 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah, well, they have a 20-minute show
Yeah.
on the hour, I think.
It's the only place I've ever seen someone play a handsaw as an instrument, and I loved it.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. It's very entertaining, and the food is delicious, and you pay one price that is very high. I think it's around $50 for an adult meal and maybe $24 for children. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. That's not official, but I feel like it's around there. And you can eat until your stomach actually explodes.
It's real. Your stomach can literally explode. Almost. Almost.
You have the feeling that you need to walk it off, but you can't walk. Like that's where you end up, or at least that's where I end up every time I eat there.
I try and stop myself, but it's like you can't. It's like you keep on eating.
Yeah. And I do agree with you, Jacob. I think of all the food in all of the Disney parks, that's, I think, the most special to me.
Yeah.
But
really?
I think so. But I will say we also really love eating at Liberty Tavern, which is in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that one's good too.
And then
there's this other one at like this beach resort.
Cape May Cafe.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
So that has unlimited crab, and that is very special to me. Crab legs are like one of my favorite foods, and I love the idea of all you can eat of them because I always feel like I get out ahead, that I win in the pricing department. Like
you eat so much crab.
Right, because crab legs can be extremely expensive at any other regular restaurant, and I always eat like, I don't know, like 8 portions of crab, of what you would eat at a restaurant in crab. And I'm just like, yes, this cost money, but I win. And I ate more than I paid for. So that makes me feel very accomplished and happy. And it's one of the places that I can find all you can eat crab legs. So it's very exciting. But I feel like the beer garden is particularly special.
Yeah, that would be the like general access one that I would say is my favorite. I also really liked Boma.
Yeah, Boma's really amazing.
Because
Boma,
it was like
it
was African food from all different regions of Africa, and they labeled everything, and it was just like it was neat. It was a neat experience to like try all that different food.
And you could like walk out, and there is like animals.
Yeah, it's at the resort there. I forget what the resort's called.
It's the Animal Kingdom Resort.
Is that?
I don't know.
Is that simple?
No, I don't know.
It's the Animal
Kingdom.
Yeah, it's at the
maybe?
Animal Lodge or something like that.
Yeah.
They have giraffes there, and that's the big hotel that's in the Animal Kingdom area.
And like zebras and stuff.
And I think. Oh, go ahead. Are you still?
Oh, but I want to say my favorite place that I've ever eaten on a Disney park has to be Club 33.
Oh,
and that's my little flex.
That's your major flex. Chris ate at Club 33, which is like a secret private club in Disneyland, while I was wheeling the little kids around.
It was
in
a
stroller.
birthday surprise. I don't think if it wasn't a birthday surprise, I don't think I would have agreed to it.
No, it's good. I'm so glad you got to go.
Because we went to Disneyland, and my sister had this plan because she got invited by a member, and she was like, "Can my brother come?" And she didn't tell me, and we were just going around Disneyland, and then partway through, she was like, "Hey, by the way, you're going to eat at Club 33 tonight." And I was like, "Who's going to watch the kids?" And she was like, "Jessica." I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then we went in. It was a neat experience. I think food-wise, I actually like Boma and Beer Garden better. But just the history and ambiance of that place was like really, really neat. It was really cool.
There's some really cool history behind that place.
Did we mention Liberty Tree?
You did, yeah.
Okay, I started on that.
Yeah.
I really, really like it there. I think that's really interesting. And Jacob brought up history. I think it's a really interesting place to kind of experience a little bit of history. And then I never hear this one mentioned, but I love the restaurant at in Pandora.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one's
It's
good.
like, yeah, right?
Because it has all the like strange food, but it's like unique but good. It's like from a new planet.
Yeah, they look really interesting, but they have this like sweet potato mash. It's just delicious, and I think about it all the time. It's really, really good. And what I think is really interesting to me as somebody who grew up in California going to Disneyland itself, is that for me, the food that's really spectacular and memorable and a reason I would want to go to a park just to eat is all pretty much at Disney World in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I don't think you go to the California one to eat.
Well, I mean, they do have the California Festival now, which I think has that similar element. That's
trying to bring it over.
I think so, because as a child, like, I mean, you think of some of the desserts and treats as like special and like you look forward to it. But I never went to any restaurants.
No.
Like it was never like about the buffet. And I know that exists, but it's interesting to me that it's just not the same mentality. Like, it's not the same approach to the parks. And I think it might be because people going to Florida kind of stretch out their stay, and it can be more leisurely, and you like go to one park at a time, and then you have more time to like sit and eat for a while maybe.
Yeah, Disneyland's a packed experience, right?
Yeah. It's just like you're trying to fit everything into a day, or at least that was our local California mentality. And I don't know if people come from out of state and they're like, I'm going to the buffet at somewhere in Disneyland, because honestly, have we ever been to a buffet in Disneyland? Maybe once at the California hotel, that one.
That was a character breakfast though.
Yeah. But even character breakfast, they have those in Disneyland, kind of, I think, but we don't do that.
Yeah. I think the Carthay Circle, is that what it's called? That new restaurant in California Adventure is supposed to have really good food. We just haven't explored that element of it.
Or the you know what, we did do the Mermaids one in California Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that.
But the food, it's not about the food really. It's about the characters, I feel like.
And that's my takeaway is like, I don't go like, oh my gosh, I'm craving that Little Mermaid buffet or whatever we ate there.
Yeah.
I don't even, it wasn't a buffet. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
But at Disney World, like, we're not in Florida and we weren't planning on being there, but I miss it. Like, I think about the food, and that's like an experience for me, way more so than anything in California.
And the one in Florida, it's gonna have a lot more food after they make Ratatouille.
Oh, you think so? You think they're gonna up their food game?
I mean, they've got to. Because it's all about a chef.
The Ratatouille ride in Paris that they're bringing over to Epcot, it empties you out into a restaurant instead of a gift shop.
So we've been on the Ratatouille ride in Paris, and there is a lot of food theming around it. Like, it's almost its own zone, and there's a restaurant that looked really cool that we couldn't get into, but it looked like kind of like you were a rat size, and everything was large.
Like those umbrellas you get in like those little drinks. Yeah. Were like on a table.
Wasn't the lighting like Christmas lights too? It
was
like
it looked really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And there's
we would have
like
loved to go
forks
to
for like forks for like roof stable.
Yeah, it looked really really fun. And we did not have a reservation, but it was actually okay, because then when you walked out of that, there were these amazing little stands that represented the different areas of France.
Yeah.
And I just love that they did that. And I don't know if that was seasonal or if that's always there, but I loved that it paid homage to these regions in France. And we as Americans got to go and have little tastes. It was like the tapas, kind of when they do these little food and wine festivals, and I think another kind of festival, the Garden Festival at Epcot, where you can go and have these little tastes of different things. And I thought they did a really good job in the Disneyland Paris Ratatouille area for experiencing France.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much as somebody coming into that country and wanting to have some cultural experiences while in Disneyland. And Christopher and I used to go to Disneyland a lot.
Yes.
When we were in college as like young adults.
With no kids.
And
we were the kids.
I feel like we transitioned into parents at Disneyland.
Yes, and it's so different.
It's different, but I think that I hear a lot of parents who go like, I won't take my kids to Disneyland. That's really hard. Or like, I can't imagine. Or like, it's really difficult for some people to go to Disneyland with kids. And I feel like it's especially when they're starting out, and then maybe later they've already established like they can't stand it or they love it. Like, there's kind of like one way or the other. And I feel like we have some tips for people who are like going into Disney with children versus having experienced it as adults.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is really important is to not have the perspective for your first time going to a Disney park or maybe any amusement park with children, to not have the perspective of it's going to be the same experience you had before you had children, and aiming for that experience. Like, if you shed the expectation of like, oh, I'm going to go on my favorite rides, I'm going to get so much done today, we're going to do everything. I feel like if you shed those expectations and instead reposition it as an experience to like enjoy something through your children's eyes for the first time, and to take it slow. That's the hard part, I think, especially because it can cost so much money. But to like realize that you're spending money on the experience and not necessarily, you know, breaking it down into, okay, we got 5 rides in that, and calculating like the worth of it based on that.
Yeah, that is definitely how I used to go. Was like, okay, we're going to hit this ride first because the line's going to be way too long if we don't do it first. And then we can get 3 more rides in, and then this and that. And then when we went the first time with a kid, I had this realization that like, I'm not going to go on rides that I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to go on rides that my kids like to enjoy over and over again. If we're lucky enough to find a ride. Like, I remember the Winnie the Pooh ride.
Yes.
It's not my favorite ride. Sorry if that breaks your heart, Jake.
Oh, no, it's not my favorite ride either.
Oh, it was at
but
one
it was.
point.
And I remember going with Bailey for the first time and going on that ride. And I wasn't...
at first going to Disneyland with her and her not really getting it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she was kind of like looking around, kind of like, eh.
Yeah. And I remember going on that ride.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I get to watch her see this for the first time. And like, and then going on that ride again and being like, oh, this ride has no line.
Yeah.
Nobody goes on it. And my kid loves it. And I get to see my kid love it. And it was great. And then also buying her an outfit was a really cool experience too.
But when she was little, it was like she didn't totally get it. And then she went on Winnie the Pooh, and she just kind of like lit up.
Yeah.
And she was so excited. And obviously she had a different opinion of Winnie the Pooh than us as adults had. But when we got to sit down and like look at her and appreciate her just loving it, that was our new experience.
And it made Winnie the Pooh my favorite ride that day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my favorite ride. It's not a ride that if I went by myself, I'd want to go on at all. But going with her and seeing her like light up to it, I wanted to do it all day long. It was great.
But I feel like if you're approaching going to a Disney park for the first time since you've had children, like you're the first time with your young kids, really try hard not to put too much pressure into doing everything, not to put too much pressure into it being what it was for you when you were a young adult or a younger, you know, whatever expectations you have, like try not to put too much pressure on that, and try to really like recognize what your child is delighting over. And sometimes that's not going on any rides at all, but it's like watching the ducks as they walk across the street. Like that's a big one. And Disney knows it. I think that's why they have ducks. Like,
or just standing and watching them make candy in the window.
Right.
Or just watching the parade. Which
that was me. I watched the candy. That was me.
And you loved characters, Jacob.
Yep.
So Bailey wasn't as interested in characters. And then when we had Jacob, we weren't expecting it to be as big of a deal. And Jacob, when he was like 5, it was like he wanted to meet everybody. He was so excited.
Stand in line to meet those characters.
And then again, for me and Christopher, we got to have a new parenting realization of like, oh, now we're excited about characters. Because up until that point, for ourselves, for Bailey, we weren't that into character visits. We were like, oh, that looks like spending a lot of time in a line. But Jacob loved it. So now,
and so does Duncan.
Right. And we've had different kids who like love it. So now we love it. Like, it's so cool. But it takes letting go of that personal expectation and experiencing that trip through your love through somebody else and their like delight in it. And I think that can really, really make it a very magical experience. And I really recommend that, especially if you're planning or budgeting for or getting excited about a trip to Disney. Like, there's the opportunity to like really have just a big old adult meltdown, because you put a lot of pressure into it.
I see it occasionally. I see it from other families like outside the gate. I'm just like, oh man, they had a hard day. Like, that's so sad. I feel so bad for them.
Like, I get it, because everybody, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes planning, it takes money, and that's exhausting.
Yeah.
And
if your expectations like way up there, there's no way it could be the best like service, the best everything. There's no way they're going to meet that expectation if it's too high. You know what I mean?
So
I remember watching movies and always looking back at my sister when like funny parts happen, And I remember one time when she went to like my grandma's house, I looked back and there was no one there. And that felt weird.
You watch movies through your sister's enjoyment? I love you, Jake.
Sometimes I like look back and see if she was laughing or something.
Yeah, watching it with somebody else makes it more fun.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and that's how it is when you're going to Disney and with your child, and or that's how it can be. But it is hard to sometimes overlook that and focus more on expectations and miss that really special moment of getting to look back and see somebody else laughing and enjoying it.
And we've been to Disneyland Paris. We've been to the parks in Florida. We've been to the parks here in California. And a question we get asked a lot on lives is, what's your favorite park? So I'd like to know what Jacob's favorite Disney park is that he's been to.
A lot of like mix for me because I really like the main park at Paris, Disneyland Paris, but California Adventure's good too. And then there's also Animal Kingdom and Epcot. And then it just kind of gets mixed up a lot.
It's hard. What do you like about Paris? What stands out to you about that one?
I think they did really good with their Pirates area and their Pirates land where you could like explore. And then also one of my clearest memories at that park was the chocolate crepe I got.
And near Ratatouille? Was that where that was? Or
No,
where was that? I don't remember.
So
It was like a booth and you could just get crepes there.
yeah, it was right next to the Ratatouille, I think, unless I'm remembering
it was
correctly.
right next to
Toy Story.
No, it was next to
Tower of Terror.
No.
Okay, we'll let Jacob finish.
It
Jacob
was
might know.
next to like the Indiana Jones backwards ride.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Like a little, like you went on there and then I got a crepe and then we went down to the train ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's it called?
Thunder Mountain?
Thunder Mountain, yeah. That is a good ride.
The Thunder Mountain in Paris is really good. It's the best Thunder Mountain for sure.
Yes.
Something that Jacob touched on there was that they have these like areas where you can walk around a lot more in Disneyland Paris.
That's what I liked.
Yeah. There was like the Alice in Wonderland. There was the pirate ship. There was the castle. Underneath the castle, you could go under there. It wasn't rides. It was walk-through attractions, and it was
Like
really cool.
Beauty and the Beast.
Aladdin, too.
Aladdin,
Don't they have
yeah.
the Aladdin area? Yeah.
Tomorrowland. Yeah, they had a Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, that's like the biggest park for Magic Kingdom. But it's like less rides
Yeah.
and more walk.
Yeah.
And Disneyland has the most rides, but like less.
Less
Yeah.
space.
Less space, and Disney World is like in the middle, where they have like a fair amount of rides and a fair amount of space.
Well,
What's your
I would
favorite?
say my favorite park is definitely Animal Kingdom.
I knew it.
I love Animal Kingdom, and that's in Florida in the Disney World parks. I think it has two of the absolute best rides.
That's
in
true.
all the Disney. So the two rides are all in the same spot, which is really cool. And for me, that's Expedition Everest is my favorite ride. And then the Pandora Avatar thing. Flight of Passage. Yeah. And that's not even That's not even my favorite. That's Christopher's favorite and a lot of people's favorites.
Favorite ride?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
It's
my favorite ride in Florida.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's so good. And I just think there are a couple shows there. The Lion King show is really great. The Finding Nemo show is really great. And I love that there are animals there. I guess it's part of like the mom that has small children in me. But I love that even if we're like not waiting in line, or if older people are waiting in line, there's something that I can do with my little ones that I think is really beneficial for them. Like I love that they can see the animals, and the animals are really taken care of really well.
And the safari ride.
The safari ride.
That's a cool ride,
and that
too.
condenses a lot of the animal experiences for you too, in case you don't have time to kind of like meander around and take in and like find the animals. And then, oh my goodness, what's it called? The Explorers, the Wilderness Explorers program.
All the booths with information from people
Yes.
from the different countries is so cool.
And that too, I don't know if it's like homeschool nerd mom in me, but I just appreciate it so much. And I love that my kids can just take their time to talk to people who really know about the places that they're representing. And that's in part because the Disney College program is so well run, and they bring people in from all over the world to represent and discuss the different places, regions in the world that are represented in Animal Kingdom. And I just love that. And it's lush. It feels like, you're in hot Florida, and it's just so green and tropical, and like, it's just lovely.
The theming is amazing there too.
It's beautiful.
Everywhere you turn, there's theming.
They've even got like a rescue area where they rescue pets. And you get to watch that.
Yeah, there's a whole rescue where you can learn about rehabilitating pets, and not pets, rehabilitating animals, and lots of different things about helping animals and animal care, veterinary care. It's just such a cool park. And then I also really enjoy Epcot. I always leave Disney World feeling like I haven't gotten enough Epcot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like,
we kind of like save it for the last day or like we only have one day there. We plan one day, and you really need more than one day. I feel like you need more.
I feel like some people don't.
Yeah,
some people
that's
go
true.
like Epcot's a half day park, or skip Epcot.
There's only a couple rides.
And it depends on your personality.
Yeah, it's not about the rides.
So for us, we love to take in the different countries and like really find the little hidden secrets of Epcot.
Yeah.
And I think some people who are just after thrill rides are more disappointed in Epcot because it really only has 2 thrill rides.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy like the food and
Living with the land.
The education.
Yeah, the educational elements.
I have a few favorite parts about that park. I have dyslexia, so it's harder for me to read, but I can see things differently in my brain, so I can like imagine things like buildings and stuff like that. So I really like their car ride.
Oh, where you design a car?
Yes, that test track was like awesome for me, and seeing all of the different architecture and all the different countries, like the Chinese architecture, Mexican architecture.
Yeah, all the buildings
Yeah.
represent where they're trying to like teach you about, and where like the food that's in that area comes from and stuff. Yeah.
And like the Japan architecture.
So my favorite park is unpopular amongst my family because my favorite park is the original Disneyland. I love the original Disneyland. I like that it's so compact, that there's so much to do in such a small space. I like the hustle and the bustle of it.
I feel like there's so much more history in that one.
And that's the other side of it. Exactly, Jacob.
I love finding like those little hidden things, and like the coins. Sometimes there's like a mark on the floor.
Yeah, the survey markers on the floor.
And the bread store.
Yeah.
The bread. Well, that's
at California Adventure though. But Disneyland proper is my favorite.
Yeah.
And I just like walking around in there going like, this is where like Walt Disney walked, and like imagine what it would be like to build a place like this and then just walk around and see people being happy because you built something cool. Like that was just, has always been kind of a neat thing for me. So we've kind of touched on it already, but what are your favorite rides?
Indiana Jones for Disneyland, California. Well, Incredicoaster in.
Such a good ride. Both of those are great
California
rides.
Adventure, yeah.
Well, there's also 2 more. Like they added stuff to it since like Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, we haven't even been there since they built the Star Wars area of the park. We've been to the one in Florida.
Yeah, but we haven't
They're
been to
also
California.
adding
Disneyland.
Marvel, and yeah.
Very exciting.
I think my favorite's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Of all the parks.
For all the parks. In the one in California.
Wow. Okay, mine. Oh wait, for all the parks, the one in California. What?
The Pirates in California, because there's a Pirates in Florida. There's a Pirates in. There's also a Pirates in Paris, right? I couldn't remember the name.
And also, we should mention that there are parks that we haven't been to. So
yes.
we haven't been to Shanghai or Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Or Japan.
No, we have not, and I really want to go.
Yeah, so we can't we can't speak to those places. Like, I'm sure they're amazing, and we don't mean to like negate those at all. We just have never had those experiences, so we can't share our opinions on those things. But my favorite ride is Expedition Everest. I just think it's brilliant. It's so cool. It's a classic, really good feeling roller coaster. And I mean that physically as an old 30. Am I 37?
Yeah.
As a 37-year-old lady who's getting a little old, my body gets really confused now. If I'm like messing with gravity, I get like kind of headachy, and I didn't have that when I was younger. And I think it's because I've become addicted to gravity as I get older. And
I just can't quit you, gravity.
I just can't quit it. I love it so much. And I feel like the Incredicoaster has that feeling for me too, where it's just a smooth coaster. So I love that roller coaster.
You have this like feeling when you're going on it.
It feels good.
Whoa.
Yeah, it just feels smooth. Good. It's smooth. And
it's not the Matterhorn.
Right. Or a lot of amusement parks that are like very thrill ride based. Yeah. And I feel like that one feels really good on my body. And then Everest feels really good. And also it has this incredible storyline. Yeah. And it's so cool. And I'm not going to spoil it because there's a twist to it. And like, when do you see that in a roller coaster? Like a genuine plot twist.
And it's a fast roller coaster. It's a fast roller coaster that somehow is able to tell a story that goes through the whole. It's not like you stop at one spot or like right at the beginning. There's like, oh, you're going to be, doing some cool thing here. It's like the whole ride. It has these moments where like, that is a really, really
good
ride.
Did you know that Expedition Everest is not actually, the mountain is not Everest?
No, what is it?
It's one of the side mountains next to Everest. If you look to like the side, you can, on like this bridge that goes to like the Dory show, you can see when you look like towards it, this small like it looks small, but it's like
forced perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actual Everest?
Yeah, they built an actual Everest in the back.
That's so
there.
cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I didn't know that, Jacob. Thank you for teaching me something.
And also, the Matterhorn is good. I like that. And they have people climbing on Everest sometimes. And on the top of it, not on Everest.
In Florida, or do you mean the Matterhorn?
The Matterhorn.
Okay.
And on the top of it, there's a half basketball. Well, technically, people thought there was a full basketball court, but it's only like one hoop.
Yeah, they put up a hoop for the guys climbing the mountain to like.
Is it on top? I always thought it was underneath.
It's inside of it, near the top.
Oh, near the top. Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize that. And that's in the California Matterhorn.
Yes.
Okay.
Jacob knows a lot of this trivia and stuff because he wants to be an Imagineer someday.
I've seen all of the Imagineering, like shows from the Imagineering show.
Like on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, an Imagineer is somebody that builds and designs rides and theming and things like that at the Disney parks.
It's a mix between Imagine and an engineer. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. So what makes you want to be an Imagineer?
I'm so interested in behind the scenes and like stuff like that. So I just think it's cool and I want to be one.
Very neat. So we have some really fun quizzes planned for Jacob. I am very excited about them. And I hope I think they might be short enough that Christopher and I can take some too.
Yeah.
Yep.
But first, let's check in with our sponsors.
So today's quiz is everyone has a Disney ride that matches their personality. Here's yours.
Woo!
Ooh.
So you're going to answer questions. We're just going to have Jacob do it first. And then I think maybe we'll take this quiz a couple times if we have time.
We'll see how long it is.
Yeah. So Jacob, here we go. To start off, what's your favorite Disney character? And you can choose between Jack Skellington, Russell from Up, Maleficent, Stitch, Peter from Peter Pan, or Ariel from The Little Mermaid? Out of those ones, who's your favorite?
Not really like the most popular.
What's your favorite out of these?
Okay, out of these.
I'm in between Russell, Peter Pan, and Stitch.
Wow.
I think I'm going to choose Russell, though.
Russell.
Nice.
Yeah, I like Russell. Okay.
I mean, they're all likable characters, but it's funny because they're not like I feel like they're not iconic Disney characters.
Yeah, it's true. But maybe they're going for fringe. They're trying to get into your personality.
Deep in
here.
there, yeah. Okay, I appreciate that.
Pick your favorite holiday to celebrate. Is it Valentine's Day, Halloween, April Fool's Day, 4th of July, Christmas, or New Year's Eve?
Oh,
Christmas.
Thanksgiving isn't on there.
Christmas is good.
But it's a lot of people's favorite. Okay, what did you say, Jacob? I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Christmas.
If Thanksgiving was on there, would you have chosen it? Or would you have stuck with Christmas?
Probably Christmas.
Okay, good.
Because, yeah.
Which landscape do you prefer? And I'm going to have to describe it for the people listening in, but Jake, you can look. There's like a cliff's edge looking out over like a fjord. There's like a tropical seascape. There's a desert with some cactus. There's like a hazy, mystical, sort of dark looking place. There's a bunch of hot air balloons, or there's a beautiful night sky. It looks sort of like Utah or something.
I like the tropical one.
The tropical one? Okay, we'll click on that. Pick a city on your bucket list. So that means a city that you want to go to someday. Okay? Anchorage, Cairo, New Orleans, New York City, London, or Los Angeles.
And do you know where Anchorage is?
No.
It's in Alaska.
Okay, I want to go to New Orleans.
New Orleans, okay. And how would you describe yourself? Are you more spooky, confident, curious, brave, cheerful, or whimsical?
I think I'm curious.
Curious, okay. And then pick a hobby. Playing board games, traveling, stargazing, watching movies, hiking, or shopping.
Probably playing a board games.
Okay.
Yes.
Finally, choose a delicious snack. Is it going to be trail mix, chips, popcorn, ice cream, churros, or candy?
This is tough.
I'm gonna have to go churros because
Yes.
You made a wise choice.
there's
my
no
friend.
pickles on there.
Okay.
There are no pickles.
Here's-
You would have gone with pickles over churros and candy and everything else? Popcorn? Wait, what do you have?
He went churros.
Would he have chosen pickles? I need to know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. So you're a salty snacker.
So Jacob, which
Yeah.
which ride do you think you got?
Haunted Mansion. I don't know.
Did you see it? Or are you
We
just
did
guessing?
it,
Yeah,
right?
you got Haunted Mansion. Jacob is the Haunted Mansion. Beware of hitchhiking ghosts. You love a good scary story, but can't get enough of Halloween, which makes you the oh-so-spooky Haunted Mansion right up your alley.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand the connections to the answers because I feel like...
I got Christmas.
Well, it does mention The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a theme that
But it says can't get enough of Halloween. I feel like you didn't choose any Halloween-themed anything. And they were pushing for it.
Well, I'm sorry.
What, Jacob?
I chose the churro, guys.
You chose the churro.
You did choose
If
the
there's
churro.
a churro in Haunted Mansion, then I'm fine.
I feel like there is a churro stand next to Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can smell churros from the line.
At least the California one.
Yeah. All right, do you want to take it, Jess?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so which character is your favorite out of these? It's Jack, Russell, Maleficent, Stitch, Peter, or Ariel?
I'm going to go with... I don't know. I give up already.
There's no wrong answer. You just...
Like, for
Which
fun.
one do you like?
I just... I guess Ariel.
Okay.
I feel like I don't know. But yes, Ariel.
Favorite
Okay.
holiday to celebrate? Valentine's Day, Halloween, April Fool's, 4th of July, Christmas, or New Year's Eve?
Christmas.
And which landscape do you prefer? I'm not going to read them out.
I'm going to go with the tropical one too. Jacob.
Welcome to the Haunted Mansion, everybody. Pick a city on your bucket list. Anchorage, Cairo, New Orleans, New York City, London, or Los Angeles.
I'd love to go back to London.
Okay.
Oh, that's leaning towards Peter Pan too. See, I feel like
Maybe.
some of these are very predictable.
How would you describe yourself? Spooky, confident, curious, brave, cheerful, or whimsical?
Cheerful.
Cheerful.
Whoa, what'd you do? You chose for me. What?
No,
What happened?
no. I don't
Okay.
know. There was a little glitch.
Okay.
Everything's okay.
Okay,
Everyone
okay.
calm down.
That's scary.
We're good.
Terrifying.
Pick a hobby: playing board games, traveling, stargazing, watching movies, hiking, or shopping.
Man, I love watching movies, playing board games, and traveling. But I'm going to choose playing board games.
Okay. And finally,
welcome to the Haunted Mansion.
Choose
I'm sorry,
a delicious
Jacob and I
snack.
are very similar.
What's a delicious snack that you like? Trail
man,
mix, chips, popcorn, ice cream, churros, or candy?
Okay, again, all of those are fantastic, and I'm completely addicted to popcorn. But I feel like I have to say churros.
Oh, welcome to the Haunted Mansion.
What's the point of even taking this quiz?
I bet it'll be different.
Okay,
Surely
churros?
it's different. Yeah,
Churros.
let's see.
What do you think
What
you
is
got?
it?
What do you think you got?
Haunted Mansion.
You did not get Haunted Mansion. What do you think you got?
Peter Pan ride.
You did. You got Peter Pan's flight.
Because I said London.
It is. That was the deciding
So
thing.
it's all the same except for the New Orleans.
There were a couple. I mean, a couple.
London,
No, I
Los
said Ariel.
Angeles.
I said The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. So should I take it?
You're definitely going to take it. I'll quiz you on it.
Oh, okay.
And I will also say that, like, a little confession of mine
Yeah.
that it's going to be, like, people are going to be really angry at me for.
You don't like the Peter Pan
But I
flight?
don't like the Peter Pan flight.
It's
like,
an overrated
okay.
ride.
I'm so
That's the
angry at
thing.
you.
Well, the thing is that it's okay. I think
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
Like, I'm not against it. I will certainly, like, go on it
Let me ask
anytime.
you
But
this.
to me, the line is so long.
I
it
saw
should
an
have
Imagineering on that. It's like I saw this. You know the part when you're like over the whole building?
Yes, it's beautiful.
That
beautiful.
I saw an Imagineering part on that, and they like put all the lights in and everything.
I'm sure
It's a
they've done
beautiful
a
ride.
done a wonderful job with it. But I feel I have a parent resentment because the line is always too long.
And
It's
if you
always at
sneeze,
least-
you miss it.
Well,
It's so
it's
quick.
not even that. It's the line is very long, and I wish they would have a fast pass option for small
Yeah.
children. Like, it's a small child ride.
Yeah.
You always see just a ton of 2 and 3 year olds who are scared or too short for a lot of the rides, and I wish that Disney was overall more accessible. And this is more Disney California than a lot of places, because I feel like Florida and Paris, as we've talked about, have a lot of like walk around experiences. Even
Yeah.
California Adventure is very well geared towards the toddler sector.
Yeah.
But with their like Brother Bear wilderness exploring trails, like those
Yeah.
are so cool. But Disneyland, the actual park, doesn't have a lot of that. And they have these like in the castle rides that are like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which often is too scary for some toddlers.
Snow White is frightening.
And Snow White's scary. And like Peter Pan is the one you can rely on for overall everybody just have a really pleasant experience. But the line is too long and no child can hold their bladders for that long. And anyway, I kind of resent it for that. Let's see. I'm opening every password. Okay, Christopher, we need to find out what ride you are desperately.
Oh, yes.
How do I
Just
refresh
scroll
it?
down. No, just scroll down. There we go.
Okay. So Christopher, favorite Disney character?
Out of those, I'm going to have to say Russell.
Okay.
I know. It's going
If
to be
you
the same.
tease me.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to say Christmas out of these
I
holidays.
am going to say Christmas.
Okay. Landscape. Is this different?
I think I'm going to go with hot air balloons, actually.
Okay.
I was leaning towards that. On
And
my
then
turn.
I'm going to go with Cairo for the city.
Oh, yeah. That is somewhere you've
And
always wanted to
then
go.
how would you describe yourself? Spooky? No. Confident? Curious? Maybe. Brave? Cheerful? I would go with
Whimsical?
I'm going to go with whimsical.
He is. And when
what?
I saw that on there, I was like, who's going to say whimsical? But like of all people in this world, you are whimsical.
I am.
Wait, what
whimsical.
is whimsical? I don't even know
It's
what that
kind of
means.
Sort of like
It's like a little magical.
a little magical, little flair.
Whimsy.
Oh.
Like
You
a
picked the
little-
wrong one, Jake?
Yeah, we have to do mine again.
Well, Christopher just did
Whimsical.
basically yours. So,
Okay, pick a holiday.
A hobby.
Well, a hobby. I'm going to go with traveling.
yeah. That was my guess.
And then I'm going to choose ice cream.
Okay. He does love his ice cream. Oh,
I did see it. I'm
He
sorry.
saw it.
I saw it.
I should have
But
hidden it.
it's Peter Pan's flight.
Romance.
Romance, that's what it is. It's just because we're married.
Ah.
Forever alone, right, Jacob?
Yep.
Jacob has a pillow that's like
That
his
I've
favorite.
had for like years.
And since he was a small child.
And I couldn't read it. And I just grabbed it and I started hugging it. and
he loves this pillow so much.
until my mom told me it said it Forever Alone. And I was like, whatever.
No, you were like, I love it even more. Like, you love that pillow. It says Forever Alone, and he's loved it for years. He's very attached to his Forever Alone pillow, and I think it's hilarious. So, yay, Jacob.
You know, taking these quizzes makes me want to develop quizzes because I always feel like I could really develop this one into something where it actually shows you. Because I don't think Peter Pan's flight is.
Are you saying this because you know that in high school, my friend Rachel and I used to constantly make up quizzes for each other?
That's not why I'm saying it, but now that I think about it, I've got a great resource here as well.
But you know that about us, right?
Yeah.
Like that was something I did with my friends all the time.
We should make our own quiz sometime because the baby one was off, and this one, Peter Pan, is not. It's not.
I also might be able to embarrass some of my old ones, but I don't know for sure, and they might be wildly inappropriate.
Oh, Jessica,
high school
what a rebel!
Me. Hey,
what a rebel! So I actually found a bonus quiz. You're getting a bonus quiz today. Ooh. And this is a baking quiz. And I thought since Jacob has been baking so much, he's been making the most delicious stuff. Beyond out of this world delicious bakery business.
And a lot of it is actually imitation Disney food. Like he took
some of it.
He took
Great
a course.
stuff.
He took an online cooking camp where he learned how to make like the most delicious Disney food. And what were you saying they were, Jacob?
Gray stuff, Liberty Tavern, like...
Oh, the crumble.
The toffee
gooey.
Cake, gooey.
Gooey deliciousness or whatever it was called. I don't even remember what it was called. But,
And then Mickey Mouse mini pizzas.
Molasses cookies. I'm just going to step in and say it. They were delicious.
And what was the other? I feel like the apple tart.
Yeah. The apple pie. Cake.
Yeah, the apple loaf cake bread.
And I also
did
made
Harry Potter.
Pumpkin pancakes.
Yeah?
Those were good.
The point is, Jake's been baking a lot. And so I found a baking quiz, and we're going to take it. So this one is, take this fall baking quiz, and we'll tell you what you need. And I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. Okay?
What do you need, Jacob?
What do you need? First of all, how would you rate your baking skills? I'm an enthusiastic beginner. I'm actually a pastry chef. I am a pretty solid baker, but I could improve. Or I just learned how to turn on my oven.
I'm pretty solid baker, but I could improve.
I like that, like, just general attitude, Jake. That's good. If I could bake one thing, only one thing, it would be bread or something sweet.
Something sweet, probably.
Okay. Pick a pumpkin spice treat to bake. Pumpkin rolls, pumpkin donuts, pumpkin pie, or pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls.
Pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls because they sound really good.
That does sound really good.
It all sounds good.
I think Jacob is going to be doing a lot of baking based on this quiz, I hope.
I'm probably going to need... What do you think I'm going to need? Cheese or something?
I don't know.
What? Oh, you mean as the results of your quiz?
Yeah.
I thought you meant for your pumpkin spice cinnamon roll ingredients, and I was like, oh, sure. I trust you.
She's just going to need some cheese based on this quiz. What's your favorite fall pie besides pumpkin? Is it apple, pecan, strawberry rhubarb, or mixed berry?
I'm going to have to go with apple.
Okay.
That's what I was going to guess.
I am an apple person.
What's your go-to bread to bake? Is it zucchini, sourdough, banana, or focaccia?
Probably banana.
Banana, all right. Pick a beverage to sip with your latest baking project. Is it going to be pumpkin spice latte, hot apple cider, chai latte, or milk?
It's gonna be hot apple cider.
Okay, I like it. Finally, this is an important question that we should all ponder. Cookies or brownies?
Cookies.
Okay, well, you
because
definitive.
Because like brownies, I feel like it's just one thing. Cookies are like everything.
Yeah, there's quite the cookie spectrum.
And brownies are just brownie.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But sometimes that's all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
So, Jacob, according to this quiz,
what does he need?
The thing you need is a bundt pan. When it comes to baking, you're a traditionalist, so you need good old-fashioned bundt pans. Perfect for all types of bundt cakes, pound cakes, coffee cakes, pull-apart breads, and monkey breads.
I actually think that's true because I feel like the other day he wanted to make small bundt cakes. Do you remember that? Cassandra sent us a recipe book and you're like, I want to make these. And I was like, oh, we need bundt pans.
I think
Do
we
we not
actually
have a bunt pan?
I think we have one giant one, but he wanted something that was like, it was like small bunt pans. And I was like, we don't have those. I think you actually do need bunt
Wow.
pans.
Well, I take it back. These quizzes do work.
This is a quiz miracle.
This never happened before. So how about it, Jake? Are you going to join us again on the podcast someday?
Yes.
Was it fun?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I had fun too. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Awesome. We hope that you guys had fun out there. Next week, I'm not sure what we will have just done Halloween, and Bailey's birthday is right around the corner as well.
Yeah, and the U.S. election.
Oh, wow. Join us
Right.
next week where we just unpack everything.
Where we see where America is at.
It's gonna be a wild one. So be sure to join us next week on Let's Talk About What We Learned Today.
Really quick though, I do think we'll probably. It's also going to be our daughter's 13th birthday, like our very first child we've ever had turning into a teenager.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be leaning more into that just for sanity's sake.
Yes. Yeah.
But
what I mean is we've got a lot to talk about. We'll pick something and we'll talk about it.
Well, thank you for watching or listening. And we will see you next time on
Let's Talk About What We Learned Today.
Let's Talk About It.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.